there, Ringside Crew.
Hello there, Ringside Crew.
Hey dudes at Ringside Crew, this is Davian.
Hey, it's Jenny Santana.
This is Alfie.
This is the Savage Juggernaut, Tamaku.
Inside Ring!
This is Thomas D. Bruff.
This is Billy Starks.
Mr. Chad Epic.
Megan Mason.
Hey everybody, Scotland's own Brody Adler.
The headliner in charge, Marco Mania.
This is your girl Charisma.
Upper Dink, Brendan Dicker.
This is According to Woods.
Savannah Summers.
I'm Shorty.
Catherine Inside.
Where you are watching
The internationally known
Dudes at Ringside podcast, hosted by Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am your host, Joe the Panther the third. And now from the singing metal mountain, it's the happy heel himself, the Metal Geek.
Do I hear an echo?
I know, echo. I hear singing.
Echo? Hello? Is this thing on? Hello?
Yeah, you're good singing, Geek.
I know. What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, internationally known? What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Joe? How's it going?
Is your mountain singing today? Do you hear any you singing? And
I hear birds chirping. I don't know.
I don't have birds chirping. I hear people singing because happy 222 day, Geek.
222.
Yeah, it's 222. Today's 222. Today's the 22nd. Yeah. 222. It's a history. 222. Because let's give it warm. Dudes at Ringside podcast. Welcome to the fighting siren herself, Shalonce Royale.
Shalonce, Joe. Shalonce. Come on.
I got so excited. I'm so excited to see this lovely, beautiful singer. Don't you, Geek? Don't you? Isn't she number one on your iPad?
She's number one on iTunes, right?
On my iTunes, she's number one. I've listened to her song about 1,000 times today. When I was at work, my manager yelled at me because I had my earbuds in. I was like, "What?" Listening to my guest. Okay. She's gonna get mad at me. So yeah, welcome to Dudes at Ringside podcast. And
Hi.
If our fans aren't familiar with you, why would they not be? Introduce yourself.
So I am Shalonce Royale. I am an opera singing wrestler. I mean, opera is not the only music that I can perform, but that just happens to be where I went to school from and got a lot of student loans. So I'm in student debt. So I'm going to definitely push that so that one day I can pay off those loans.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So who trained you? Can you hear me?
Who trained you?
So who trained you?
Who trained me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I started out formally in school at One Fall Power Factory, which is now known as the Nightmare Factory. Wow. And I trained under QT Marshall and Glacier.
That's awesome. Those are some big names to be.
We've had other wrestlers trained at the same I don't know if it was the original school, but the one you went to. But a lot of wrestlers we know went to the Nightmare Factory.
Yeah, that
really?
Who? That came up. Renegade Twins. Do you know
Renegade
them?
Twins?
Yeah, they started after me.
Yeah.
When it was still One Fall.
Uh-huh.
I don't know anybody else that's been there before. I know they were at the Nightmare Factory, but yeah.
That's a really good school to go to, though.
A lot of people go to the Nightmare Factory, but that's you say it and they're all like, "Oh, Nightmare Factory, I know that place." You know, it's everybody. A lot of. I wonder if a lot of active wrestlers from the other rosters, like from other AEWs or Impacts, have all gone to Nightmare. I wonder how many could say they went to the Nightmare Factory. You know,
Not many.
Really?
No.
Not many.
So
wow.
One Fall again. It's just now being called Nightmare Factory when Cody started running his camps there. But One Fall for a while it was a small school. You had people come through because QT Marshall knew people and obviously Glacier knew people, but you didn't have as many people, I guess, start there. They just may have come through. So there's only a handful of us that can say we legitimately started there. Now, the Nightmare Factory camp is kind of different than the school. Like, obviously, if they go through the camp, some stay and actually become a part of the school. But in other cases, like the Renegades and myself, we didn't do the camp with Cody. We were just grandfathered into the school. And so you don't really have that many people that have gone through it all yet.
Okay. That's
cool. So what would you say your first match was like in front of a crowd?
Horrible.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's like our first podcast.
Huh?
That's like that was like our very first podcast. If you ever go back and watch our first episode, you'd be like, guys, everybody has to start somewhere.
We have to start somewhere. We can't just always be perfect, you know? I mean, there's some things I do perfect for the first time, but honestly, my first wrestling match wasn't my first match, if that makes sense. So I did backyard wrestling before I did pro wrestling. So I was kind of a little acclimated to what to expect, kind of. But my first pro wrestling match, I actually trained. I actually was with people that I believe trained, because it's been a minute. But I was in a tag match, and my partner was retiring, and it was my first match. So there was a lot riding on the line, and at the time, I didn't completely understand psychology. I would understand talking it out, but the girls that I was going against, they're used to being able to call it in the ring or to make something happen if you're lost or things like that. But I'm brand new. Like, I know how to do moves. I know how to do the spots, but I didn't know how to live as a wrestler, if that makes sense. So I was all over the place. My body was like Gumby. People thought that I died a couple of times in the match. It was horrible.
So what would you say the inspiration for your gimmick is?
Excuse me? Sorry, it's a little hard for me to hear you.
Sorry about that. What would you say the inspiration for your gimmick is? The inspiration for it.
I'm my inspiration. So it's weird, and what I'm about to say is going to sound really cliche, but when I first started, I knew I wanted to go with the music gimmick because I knew that was different. And I wanted to use my last name. So my real last name is Royal or Royale. And I'm like, oh, that's so unique. I feel like I was born with a performance name. So when I first started wrestling, I wrestled under my real name. So that's why some people can't find my all-in stuff and all-out stuff in my early dark days, because I switched my name. So I knew that I wanted to do the singing thing, but it just wasn't getting across. People would be like, oh, she's cute, you know? And if they pay attention to what I'm wearing, they'll see that it had like the treble and bass clef symbol on my chest and then the music symbols on the side. But I was still brand new. People wasn't paying attention like that. So I was just a new wrestler. But the quarantine happened, and I was forced to not wrestle and to live in my head. And I did a lot of thinking. And one of the things that QT said finally clicked, even though he said this many times, it finally clicked to me during the pandemic. Well, we're still in a panorama right now, but the quarantine. And he said, your wrestling character should be you like times 1,000 or just like amped up. And I always heard him say that, but I'm like, but I'm just a really nice person. That's a singer. Like, you know, what, but I remember he mentioned one day, he's like, well, you're a classically trained singer. Like, what are some of the things that you don't like in the classical community? He was like, you can channel some of that, or in the musical community in general, and channel that. And that's how you can be a heel rather than just a nice guy all the time. That's just putting people over all the time, you know? And so honestly, one day I just thought about it and I'm like, you know what? I am just going to be me, but times like 1,000. And I brought back, I guess, a personality that I formed in South Korea when I studied there. I lived there for a little bit. And that's how shalonce was born, the name, because that's the first time I wore like colored hair. I had like a honey blonde hair. And in South Korea, a lot of the times they would just try to associate you with who they believe you look like. And so a lot of people there said Beyonce. Now, I don't look like Beyonce, but I'll definitely take the compliment. And so I'm just like, okay. So try to make a long story short, I started going to clubs there and they would let me in for free. I would get free drinks. Like it was like all about me. Like I don't know why, but maybe because I was like the only little caramel chip in the bunch. So they're just like, come here. And one of my friends there was like, okay, Shalonce, get it. And I just always remembered that. So taking that advice of what I learned from quarantine or just finally accepting the advice during quarantine and remembering Shalonce. And I was like, you know what? I went to a whole country. I didn't understand the language. I knew a little bit. I went by myself and I took classes. That's who I want to be. That fierce girl right there who said, no matter what, I'm going to go for it. And that was Shalonce. And I'm like, let's just bring her into wrestling because now I'm going for it.
That's an awesome story, though.
And you're a champion, too.
And I'm a champion.
Yeah. Just going to a club and just looking like Beyonce and then your friend calling you Shalonce, that's so absolutely awesome.
It's a cool story. I like that. We get stories, but we don't get stories like that on Dudes.
I have like stories.
That's such detailed right there.
We love stories here, so you can go on, Shalonce.
Oh, thank you.
Go on and on. We love stories. We don't care. We always ask questions, but if the guest has questions like stories,
go ahead.
The stage is yours, girl. The stage is yours.
Thank you.
Just back up and listen. Yeah. Having a sister that's a singer, I'm used to hearing all the singing. So yours. Yep. I grew up with a sister. I grew up being the brother of a person in a show choir and like watching them perform. I had a chance to go to Disney for free. Universal and Disney.
You never told me this.
Yeah. For free. All the kids in my BOCES class are like, Joe, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going there. You'll be here next week. I'm like, I'm going to Disney, guys. I'm going to be in Universal Studio next week. They're like, you're a loser, Joe. You ain't going nowhere. I came back with a tan. Like, everybody's like, hey, Joe. And I'm like, I felt like Shawn Michaels. I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up, singing group? What's up? I just hung around Disney like this, in the background like this. I met a bunch of new friends that went to the school and I finally met this redheaded girl that I was always like, hey, became my friend.
No.
And I got a chance to go to the Animal Kingdom for free when it just opened, because that's when it was first opening, the Animal Kingdom in Disney.
That's awesome, dude.
I never known it was just opening. I was like, and also, what's it called? I got a chance to go to Animal Kingdom, the Epcot, the other park, and I didn't get a chance to go to the original Universal. We went to the other one. What's the other one? Universal.
Islands of Adventure.
I get a chance to go all those parks for free and have to pay a dime. Nothing.
That's amazing.
Well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang out with Joe more often now.
Right?
That was so cool. I didn't even have to sing. If I did, they would be like, Joe's done. Game over.
The next one.
Believe it or not, my first time, the only time that I've been to Disney was actually music related too. It was a choir competition.
Yeah. This was like in the late 2000s when I had hair, and I would just be like, yeah, I'm the brother, and I don't sing, and I am in the background. Yeah, I'm funny, and I think I'm funny, and I'm short, but people mean to me.
What about me, geek? Yeah.
What about me, geek? What about you?
I got in trouble with the mod now. Look at that. I'm saying
ever so spiffy. I like that.
That's our mod. You'll meet her at the end of the show. When we're done, we'll have the meet and greet. Yeah.
So who'd you say your favorite singer is?
Who's your favorite singer of all time besides you?
I don't have one.
Wow.
Well, it's because I love music so much to where I can't just pick one artist, because I wasn't even inspired by just one artist. I love different artists for different things, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of people would think like, oh, I love Beyonce because it's in my name, but I love Beyonce for her entrepreneurship. You know, I love Beyonce for the performances she puts on and the things that she's done. And I know she has an incredible voice, but I never really just was anticipating like something dropping from her, you know. So I love like singers, like I love Prince, Ellie Goulding, I mean Beyonce, Vanessa Carlton, you know, like, but my taste is like everywhere because I mean I love like Korean artists, Japanese artists, German artists, Russian artists, like all over. So I don't have one particular singer of all time. I just love music. I love singers. I love entertainers. I just love it all.
Ooh, fun! Another fun story with Joe. My mom's piano teacher is Vanessa. Was she used to train under Vanessa Carlton's mom?
Really?
Yeah, her mom lives in my town.
I love Vanessa Carlton. So
this close, Shalonce. Almost met her because I was going to Special Olympics and they were gonna let me leave early to go. They were having like a big performance of her in the park, and I could have met her, talked to her, shook her hand, took a picture with her, but my coach was so messed up, wouldn't let me leave early to go with this other family. I would have been standing with her doing the Triple H with her and take a picture with Vanessa Carlton. And every time I hear that song, you know, that song was written about Milford, the town I'm in.
It was written about
the town I live in, Milford.
Really?
Yeah. It's written about Milford.
I'm jealous. I really want to meet her.
You should. Have you ever traveled this side to like the tri-state area and wrestled yet?
Just through.
Just through. Not actual wrestle, right?
Yeah.
You what?
He said you never really wrestled. I mean, he said.
You wrestled where?
No. I said he has. I said you haven't wrestled. You've driven through. He said.
Yeah. I wrestled in Maryland. Oh. But other than that, like I drive through the places.
Yeah, you should definitely check it out one day. If you're ever during the summertime, if you're ever on this side of the tri-state, look on your map. If you're near Milford, Pennsylvania, you should stop in and walk. It's like you could park your car in the town and just walk throughout the whole town. That's how
really okay.
It's a tiny little town. It's one stoplight.
I love towns like that though. Before, when I was younger, I couldn't appreciate them, but now that I travel so much, I really appreciate like the small town feel. So
you could.
I'll definitely do that.
Walk around, get a cup of coffee, and just walk around. Do you know Joe? Do you guys might know Ghost? Well, in this town, they don't know me as Joe Panther III. They know me as Ghostbuster Joe. They'd be like, "You know Ghostbuster Joe?" I'm like,
not Ghostbuster Joe.
You know Ghostbuster Joe? Because they don't know me as Joe Panther III. Because even though it's a small town, I say my podcast, and they go, "Okay, Joe. Okay, Joe." You think that they'd be like, "Oh, podcast, let's all help. Let's go help support your local podcast." They just go,
"Nope, we're gonna listen to the top big boys."
They do this to me. Okay, Joe, go back to the shelf and boy.
Yeah, that happens with me too. I say, "You guys gonna listen to my podcast tonight?" And they're like, "No, I think we're gonna listen to Wrestling Observer." I
get one thing.
I'm like, I go, Wrestling Observer doesn't care about your views. We do.
For one thing, when you get The Rock or Stone Cold, tell me. I'm like,
when you get The Rock, wait, what?
When you get The Rock or Stone Cold, let me know.
Okay.
I'll watch. No, like I'll watch then. I'm like,
and I'm like,
that is so mean. You know?
I'm like,
that's so mean. It's like, really? Yeah. That's when you'll watch.
That's when you'll watch. That's what it's like. Then I'm gonna go. Then I'm not gonna respond to you when you're in the chat.
The one thing I
didn't hear you.
I would love to get The Rock or Stone Cold, but I rather have the wrestlers like you guys, like the Shalonces and the Billy Starks,
Maria Tuckers.
What's that?
Maria Tuckers.
Marina Tuckers.
Ooh.
And the oh yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You wrestled her last week. We know, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the wrestlers like you guys me and Geek love independent wrestling so much that we just want to help you guys in any way we can by showing your 8x10s, showing your pictures that you sent us for the podcast, showing your promos, and that gets you more fans and gets the wheels turning for you guys, so people want to know. And when you're on our podcast, we never know. AEW may see you, Impact may see you, and be like, "Hey, Shalonce, I hear we're going to be in Florida this week. Do you want to come on AEW Dark?" Boom, and then we see you on AEW Dark.
She was on AEW Dark.
I know. Again, they may bring her back. You know what I mean? They may bring her back, and like they'll be like, "Oh my god, she was on Dudes at Ringside last week." Whoa, you know what I mean? Like that's what we love. We're that kind of wrestling fan. We like helping.
Well, we appreciate people like you.
Yes, we love it. Yes, we just love it. we love going to big shows, me and Geek, but the small shows, they're more exciting. You know,
it's more interactive.
More interactive, and you guys could like when you're sitting in the Bloody Nose, you won't be able to go hang out and say hi to John Cena.
Right.
At the indie shows, you can be sitting in the back row and run over to your table and buy an 8x10 for Shalonce and be like, "Let's take a selfie." Yeah. That'll be $20. All right.
You know what I mean? Not lying.
I would have charged $40.
I took a $20 selfie. What? What happened to all your money, Joe? I paid $20 for a selfie.
Going for a good cause to help an indie wrestler.
Can you buy me lunch, Geek? I used all my money to take a selfie. And she didn't even like it. She made me delete it. I didn't even have change. You got change for a 20? No. Give me my money and go, Joe. All right, we're missing a question in the chat. Our buddy's gonna get mad at us. So, what was your favorite wrestler growing up?
I didn't have one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't really watch wrestling growing up. So it's weird though. So I remember seeing a clip from, I don't know, it may have been Raw, SmackDown. I feel like it may have been Raw years and years and years ago when I was a kid. And it's when they still had the butterfly diva belt or whatever. And I remember saying, "Oh, I can do that. I'm going to do that." Didn't watch it really anymore after that. We lost cable shortly throughout. Like, we got cable sporadically through my childhood, but for the most part, I didn't have cable. But it wasn't until I was in high school that I got, I'm trying not to tell my age, but I had a PSP.
Okay.
And someone gave me the game Raw versus SmackDown. I believe it was 06. Raw versus SmackDown 06 or maybe 2010. I don't remember. But I fell in love with like customizing my characters on there and going through the story and taking interests. Because, you know, back then you didn't really have that many custom interests. So you would have to take like an interest from somebody else that's on the roster. You could just make your own person. And I would do that for hours because, you know, I have to look good. Like, I would have to have the right customizations to feel like I'm a winner. So I would take hours making my person. And then I just love, like, the whole production of it. So the video game helped me understand wrestling. And that's when I fell in love with it. But I didn't do anything with it. But on the game, I was very fond of Mickie James and Trish. But again, I didn't really know their significance in wrestling at the time. And Michelle McCool, she wasn't on that game, but I remember seeing her on TV, and I really liked her gear. And I remember those ladies. So it wasn't until later on in life that I ran into like backyarding and stuff that I actually started studying wrestling. Because I wanted to know what I was doing, or at least I thought that's what you do at the time. Because, you know, I'm a musician, you know, you study to do, you know, to perform and all this stuff. So I thought it was the same thing with wrestling. And that's when I realized I was not wrestling. I was just imitating what I saw. And that's when I developed liking wrestlers. So like my first match that I officially sat through was Asuka versus Ember Moon before Asuka got called up to the main roster. Yeah. And keep in mind, that's light years away from what I remember seeing when they had the Butterfly Divas belt.
Yeah.
So that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, my favorite wrestler is Ember Moon. My favorite wrestler is Asuka. And it was changing every week. So growing up, I didn't really have one. And I still don't like have one. But now I have more respect and I can differentiate who I really, really love, who I just really like, who I idolize, things like that.
Was that the match from Brooklyn or was that the match from Orlando?
Was
that the match from Brooklyn or Orlando?
Brooklyn.
Or Orlando? Like which
Orlando. The Ember versus Asuka?
Yes.
I don't remember. I saw it on the network. And it was one of the guys just like brought it up to have me watch it to see like the things that I could do. But I just remember that it was the very last one that they had. And then then Asuka got called up.
Mm-hmm. So who's somebody you would love to face in the future? Like a dream match.
Who's someone I would love to face in the future?
A dream match.
That changes every day too. Because let's see. Who would I love to face in the future? I would love to face Kiera Hogan again, but Kiera Hogan and Red Velvet definitely again, but like on the indie scene. Or if I have a contract on the scene where, we could actually have more than, a 3-minute match.
Exactly.
I'm kind of getting one this weekend because I would love to face Camille, but I'm obviously facing her this weekend. Gosh, I'm never good at thinking about these things until like I'm actually in the zone with wrestling because I still separate it sometimes. I separate like the wrestling life and then my personal life.
Yeah.
So when I'm like hyped up and I'm getting ready to go to a show, I know exactly who I want to face. I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what's going on. But like the dream matches, I always think of people signed, not indies. So like I would love to face Sasha. I don't know how this would ever happen, but I would love to face Sasha Banks. Like I could just die after I face her. Like I'm complete. It would just be over. The same thing with Charlotte Flair. If I face Charlotte Flair, you could just go ahead and open the casket, put me in there with Undertaker. I'm done. I'm good. I'm good.
That's a dream right there. There's so many.
I just know that there's more indie talent that I know that I really want to face, but it's just not coming to Renee Michelle. She's one that I would love to face. I want a rematch with Nyla. I faced her years ago on Dark Number 6 in a tag match that she never tagged out for. And then of course I went after her in that casino battle royale and she eliminated me. So I just have blood for Nyla right now. So I would love to, get another chance with Nyla.
Is that a call out I see? Or
definitely.
Nyla.
Dudes at ringside.
She might be listening. You never know.
If you want to call her out right now, dudes at ringside.
Nyla knows that I still remember that. Eliminating me first. Now, granted, I always like to make history, and I was in the very first Casino Battle Royale with AEW, and I was the first eliminate. First is just in me, it's in my blood. However, I didn't appreciate that, especially because I was just learning. Nyla had the ability, or could have actually used their ability to mentor me, help me, but no, they just decided to eliminate me like I was nothing. And then when I returned, Nyla annihilated me, and I didn't ask for all that. I didn't. So I need a rematch, like just 1-on-1.
Another one is Kylan King. Have you ever faced her? Kylan King.
Kylan King?
Yeah.
Oh, that I should face her again?
Yeah.
Well, we are. Saturday.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
So we face each other at CCW, which was an amazing show, by the way, because we got so many chants. Like it was great. Like it felt really nice. But we face each other in Mount Vernon, Illinois. Saturday.
I was about to say, but I thought you were about to say Mount Vernon, New Jersey. I was like, whoa, you mean Jersey?
No, not this time.
about to say, New Jersey, you're close. You're close to PA. You can just look and see where
There's
how far
a
you
lot
are.
of East Coast wrestlers you could.
The East Coast.
There's a lot. Yeah, Little Mean Kathleen.
East Coast wrestlers. So many East Coast wrestlers that are like that. I would love to see you face, like Little Mean Kathleen.
Yeah, definitely.
LMK.
Who?
Little Mean Kathleen. Little Mean Kathleen.
I don't know who that is.
She's part of CCW, but the one from Delaware.
Delaware.
Yeah.
I know a few people that's on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm horrible with wrestling names.
Yeah.
I do watch several clips and I have to get better. You know, I realize I have to get better because I'll know of a wrestler by clips or studies or things like that. And next thing you know, it's time for me to say their name. And I'm like, what? Like who? Or I'll know partial names like Kylan King. I knew King because of the last name. But I was like, oh, I know who you're talking about, because then I'll see the face and like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
But if they have a name like Red Velvet, it's pretty hard to mess up. You know, like I remember those names because first of all, I love Red Velvet Cake. You know, I have an inner fat kid that, you know, I just like cake. And then it's Red Velvet. But when it comes to a wrestler that has like a name like that sounds like it could be someone's regular name, my brain tunes out.
It happens. It happens to me too. It doesn't happen to all of us geek. Because sometimes me when I forget a name and I screw up a name and then I get yelled at.
You screw up names like left and right, Joe. It's just a tradition.
I'm not called the drunk Howard Finkel for nothing.
I have to correct you, Joe.
You don't know who Howard Finkel is by now. Howard Finkel is the old ring announcer from WWF, and he's my favorite ring announcer. So I call myself the drunk Howard Finkel. I'm like, line. I'm like, line. Vince, why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me?
I'll be in there like, why are you taking it so personal? I just need a lie.
That's Geek. Geek's like the Howard Finkel in the headsets, hence the headset. He's like, get the name right, Joe. Why are you yelling at me? And I'm the stupid one that still has the microphone by the mouth. And I'm like, why are you yelling at me? And the whole crowd is like, who is he talking to? Mommy, why is that man crying in the ring with the microphone by his face? Why are you yelling at me? I don't know what I did. It's like the wrestler coming down the aisles going, crying. Why is the ring announcer crying in the middle of the ring? I didn't know. I didn't do it. That's me every time. Because I blame it on the light. I blame it on the live button. I get so into the part. The character says, the wrestler says, this and that, this and that, this and that. And I'm just like, I got it. Boom, gone. Oh, yeah. Question from the guest. It's on the screen for you.
Favorite tag team growing up?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have one.
Oh, no, Geek. No. There we go. I got a fun question for you. What is your favorite food?
She just said red velvet cake.
Oh, that's a dessert, Geek. We're talking about food.
I love food. Like, I love food too much. So to have a favorite, I guess like my go-to, I don't know if this counts because this is technically not like a food, but it's like a style of cooking it or a tool to cook it. But I love like hibachi.
Oh yeah.
Hibachi is amazing.
So hibachi chicken, hibachi steak. Like my goal, when I have my own home build, I'm going to have like 2 or 3 kitchens. Don't ask me why. I just love to cook and I want like an Italian style kitchen so I can have like a little what is it where you could make the pizzas but like it's in the wall?
Pizza stone?
Yeah, something like that, but it's like in the wall. It's like an oven-ish
thing. Like with the fire, like it's like one of those brick ovens or like a brick oven?
I want one of those. And then I want like a regular kind of kitchen. And then I want one with a hibachi grill built in it. So I'll be that one that's trying to do all the stuff when I have people over. And, you know, hurt myself.
trying to get the chicken and the
onions. The volcano onions.
Yes. So I can get the egg in the hat. And then the volcano train with the onions. So I can like try to scare people. But chicken and steak are like my go-to. it's no matter what, chicken and steak are like my go-tos. So
I know where we'll be going to have dinner when you do that. We'll be there eating dinner, going for hibachi at your house.
Yeah.
yes,
Love
but that's
food.
also a way to win my heart. Like some people are like, they'll ask me, oh, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for Christmas? Or like, what do you like to do? Like, what if someone just want to do something nice for you? Like, what would it be? I'm like, feed me. Feed me and I'm yours. Especially if you take me to a hibachi grill or Korean barbecue. You take me to one of those and you probably won't be able to get rid of me.
How do you feel about Puerto Rican food?
I haven't had it enough, but I love it when I do.
Oh yeah, I'm half
You
Puerto
mean
Rican.
the men or the food? Because I meant that for both.
There we go, girl. I'm half Puerto Rican, half Italian, so I'm a little bit of
okay.
Puerto Rican heat right here.
And you said half Italian?
Yeah, half Italian, half Puerto Rican.
I was in Italy for a little bit.
I don't know how to speak Italian, but I know I'm half Italian, so there we go.
Okay, that's an interesting combination. That's very unique.
I'm very fiery. When someone at work gets me fired up, I have to like walk away. I'm like, get away. I don't want to lose it. That Puerto Rican comes at me, the Puerto Rico heat. It's just like
Favorite place you would love to travel to? You would love to travel
Favorite
to?
what?
Favorite place you would love to travel to?
That I love to travel to?
You would love to travel to.
That I would like to travel to?
Yeah.
I would love to travel back to South Korea.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I loved it there. I lived in Seoul, South Korea. I attended Ewha Women's University. And I feel like that was the best time of my life. Like, honestly.
Okay. What was your favorite cartoon growing up?
Favorite cartoon growing up? I was a big anime nerd. Okay. Still am. So I had like a plethora of like shows growing up, but coming home from school, I had to watch Sailor Moon. I just had to. It was just a thing. If I didn't, I was mad. I was useless, and people would know. So Sailor Moon definitely was like my favorite growing up. And then eventually, if I could pick a top 3, it would have been Sailor Moon, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Cowboy Bebop.
Oh wow. There's one I don't know if you've ever heard of. Have you ever heard of what's it called? Fist of the North Star?
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's so if you like watching like fighting anime, all I'm gonna say is it's really bloody, but it's a good fighting battle. It's a good fight. All I could tell my friend Tom got me into it, and I was just like blown away. That's like every time my friends like I like watching fighting anime. I'm like, oh, you have to watch Fist of the North Star. They're like, never heard of it. Like, and they watch it and they're like, dude, that thing was crazy. Like, yeah.
And what is it called again?
Fist of the North Star.
Fist of the North Star. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rick and Morty is another great cartoon. Rick and Morty.
Believe it or not, I actually haven't seen more than 3 episodes of Rick and Morty.
I'm only on like episode like 4 or 5. I'm bad. Like,
you finished it, Joe?
No, my sister. We never watched it again after my sister came over like last Christmas. Like, we stopped watching it completely.
No, I don't have anything against the series. It's just it came out when I was busy. Like, my life started picking up, so I couldn't spend as much time in front of the TV. I also didn't like prescribe the cable like that, and it just wasn't something that ever came up in my feeds for anything. Because you know how it is these days, like this day and age, like if it's not fitting in your algorithm, it's really easy to not know about something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one day a few years ago, I think I was in a hotel room, and they have cable. So I was just going through Cartoon Network and I saw it, and it was like the episode with like cat people, I think. It was so intense. I liked it, but it was so intense and I didn't know how to feel. Like, so much was going on. Oh, dude had the drool. Like, I didn't know what was going on.
It's not supposed to make. It's not supposed to make sense
Like
at all.
favorite-
It's the most random show. I mean,
It's just
there's a story, but the thing is, it's a long, ongoing story. The story's still unfolding. The story is still unfolding to this day.
Oh,
Yeah, but every episode is just random episodes and about random things. So it's like they're making fun of snakes one day. They're making fun of I don't know, The Purge in another episode. It's like just random stuff.
was that? I think that was The Purge, or it was something like the end of
It was
time.
the
I don't
Purge
know what
episode. The Purge episode. It must have been because there was this cat lady, and then they were and this cat person, and they were like, "Yeah,
I think that's what I saw." And people died. There was
Yeah,
blood.
that was the episode. Yeah, that was the episode.
Okay. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh no!
Now I have to watch it. A lot of people say a lot of good things about the show, so I have to watch it now.
Yeah, to go back.
So now you have to go back and watch. Remember the Barbecue. That's probably my favorite.
Remember the what?
The Barbecue.
They did a Babadook episode.
Barbecue.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it said the Babadook. I was like,
no.
Yeah, that's what we like here on Dudes at Ringside. We go from wrestling to food to cartoons to sports. If we want to talk about sports, so here we go. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Was my favorite what?
Movie.
Yeah. Oh, these are hard. I realize. I guess I'm such an indecisive person. So, I guess my favorite movie is The Temptation. I think it's like a two-parter. Like it was a mini series released on VH1 years and years and years ago. But then obviously now it's put on DVD together or VHS. But that movie I can watch over and over and over. I don't know why I'm so into the whole Temptations backstory. I know like some of it's fictionalized, but a lot of it's based off of the truth. And so I love learning about that classic group.
There's a lot of people that you would think that like, oh, I don't like that kind of music. But then when you put music on like the Temptations, everybody starts to move and groove. It's like there's certain songs like for me, if you put on any Bobby Brown song on, I'm working, and that happened like a few years ago, like last year or year before that, they were playing My Prerogative in the middle of my job, and I was blocking my shelves, and I just started.
It's just something about the music, And to be honest, I didn't really care about the Temptations. I mean, until I like paid attention to that movie. And it's weird because I know that obviously they use some of the original music for that movie, but I think they also recorded some with the cast for that movie, or at least they sound very similar. And that's when I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. And that's when I started paying attention. But of course, you hear the Temptations like Silent Night. I mean, like every Christmas.
Yeah.
Every Christmas season is Mariah Carey and the Temptations. But I didn't pay attention to them until that movie. And I was like, dang it, I missed out.
Yeah. One of our friends in the chat, Mania, said, going back to food, he makes a good chicken and waffles.
Going back to where?
Our friend in the chat, he makes a good chicken and waffles, he says.
Ooh, oh. I don't think I had a good chicken and waffles, so I'm gonna have to, challenge your friend one day to feed me.
He's a cook, so I think you and him have become best friends because he's a cook.
Oh my gosh, probably would never be able to get rid of me, honestly.
I think he'd be happy because he's like, yay, friend.
And if the food is good and they're single, they may not be able to get rid of me for real.
He likes wrestling too, so he'll be like, yay, friend, and you like wrestling? What?
Yeah.
He could be your road buddy. He could cook for you on the road.
Just feed me.
You could just sing to him while he's cooking. You could sing to him. Shalonce could sing to him.
Do you have any pets?
Floof, friendly, and are welcome on up. What?
Yeah. Do you have any pets?
I do. Right now, they're getting on my nerves because they're trying to have like little DBZ battles with each other.
Oh, jeez.
While, like this whole day, they were kind of calm. And the moment that people actually want to talk to me, yeah, I'm talking about you.
Cats? Cats or dogs? Is it a cat?
But no, they're sweet. I have 2 cats. I have 2 tabbies. One is really, really orange. And then the other one looks like the printer was running out of ink when he was coming out.
Oh, no. Hey, Vinny, what's going on?
So, yeah, they may join us.
She wants to bring them on.
I love cats. Cats and
Bring
dogs.
them on. Come here.
Never had a bird.
Here. They never want to do what you want them to do. Here.
Yeah.
Come here.
Except for Rook the dog.
The cats do that face. They're like, me? Oh, orange cat. Yay, kitty. Hey, kitty, kitty.
Except
hi.
Hello, kitty.
Except for Rook the dog. He tells you what he wants.
You're live on the internet.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, Armad's dog, his name is Rookie, and like like they're in the picture on the mod's Twitch channel.
That's the doggy?
Yeah, that's
the dog.
Rook.
Like,
you just clicked her off the dog again.
Want me to show him again? There you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's
She's little doggy.
He's a oh god, what kind of dog is he again?
Golden doodle. Mini golden doodle.
A gold doodle?
Yeah. Mini golden doodle. Mini golden doodle.
Mini gold doodle?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the combinations are like endless.
So it's basically like golden retriever mixed with a poodle. A mini poodle.
Well,
Mini
it's
poodle.
cute.
Now I have a wiener dog named Dexter.
So and he's very responsive. Like you tell him no, he'll start growling at you, saying no.
Yeah. I'll start yelling at you and everything. By the way,
I'll-
hi Vinny, welcome to the chat.
He'll start arguing with you and stuff, right?
Really?
Yeah, he argues and like he wants a treat. Like he'll go by the door where he knows where the treats are, so he'll stand there until someone gets one for him.
Yeah, happens. That happens to my dog or my dog when he wants something. When Dexter wants something, my dad will be sitting there looking at his iPad or on Instagram, just looking at something. All of a sudden, he'll like take his paw and just do this. He'll tap my dad's leg with his paw, and he'll go and just stand there staring at him like this.
Not the.
I'm like,
not with the quickness. We call it the fist.
He does like the Karate Kid thing, waiting for him to pick his both paws up. And
Sometimes he could open doors too.
Kitty, yeah.
This is the other baby.
Oh, look at that kitty. Hey, kitty.
You see? You see?
Sometimes Rook could open doors. You know that, Joe? I don't know if I told you that.
Like
sometimes he what?
He can open
doors.
Like he'll
The
push
what?
Open doors, like the door. Like
they open doors?
Yeah. He'll push the door open sometimes, and he'll come in the room, and I'll be like, "Oh God."
No privacy.
My sister's cat does that. I'm so glad that my sister's cat hasn't done it to me yet. Apparently, my sister's cat knows how to open the door when you're in the bathroom.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I don't want to get that experience. I'm just sitting here like going to the bathroom, and I'm like, no, this is no. You're gonna help me? No.
So in my first apartment, I had, my 2 little babies, and they were rambunctious kittens. Like you couldn't tell them anything. And I found out that the really, really orange one, he can open doors. So, but the doors were like a latch on the outside where you can just like move them like this. Yeah. So when I'm at work and I come back and I see like my cords are chewed up because they're kittens. I'm like, who was in my apartment? So I'm paranoid because I'm like, someone's coming in here. They're not like closing the doors. And it was my cat. Eventually he did it in my face. And I'm like, really? And he would just reach up and pull down and open the door.
Wow. Stuff you don't know about your pets till you see them do it.
Until you see them do it.
Yup.
Do you have any stories? Do you have stories from the ring or training or anything?
I have stories from
the stories from your training, the road, stuff like
ring.
that.
I mean, always. It just depends on what type of story.
we like funny stories, sad stories, anything you could tell. You know?
Anything you don't want to get yourself in trouble for telling from the training.
They're so broad. Like I have to get like specific instances because like
Here we go. Like something like from your first day in training. Do you have anything like that? Like your first training?
Oh, so my first day of training, I guess, was like my trial period. A friend who was a backyard wrestler with me was like, hey, you should come up to this school. You know, I know you want to learn more. And if you come, you won't regret it. And he was like, don't worry about the first time coming. Don't worry about paying anything. Just come. So I eventually did. And we had to do a drill. I think it was like a headlock and you whip them off into the rope, something of the sort. So quite naturally, they let me go with my friend because they're like, oh, you know him, so you guys should be cool. Well, he almost threw me through the ropes. Like, I have never been thrown with such force in my life. And if I was, oh my gosh, I could have been chopped into 3. Like, I still remember that feeling of the rope. And keep in mind, I had only been backyard wrestling for about 2 or 3 months at this time. So now I'm going to this school where I know how to bump and I kind of sort of know how to run the ropes, but I'm not used to the rope feel. So that was the first time that I got up close and personal with the ropes, that I thought that my body was going to be chopped in half. And I'll never forget that. And every time I look at him, I remember, I'm like, you tried to take my life.
Oh, geez.
Mm-hmm.
But no, there's just, I never think of the instances until I get like a specific question about something or until you jog my memory with something. Like I've had injuries, I've learned lessons, you know, like, and lessons that wrestlers would know, like the duck the line situation. You know, you're always taught if they're throwing a freaking clothesline, duck. But most people get lazy because you know that the person, if you're supposed to miss it, most people go way over you, unfortunately. And not trying to expose the business, but people have clearly seen where someone ran over and they're like windmilling. And we usually do that to make sure that we're really not getting that person. But I'm short. So a lot of times people automatically are throwing over me anyway. And I don't have to duck as hard because most people are lazy. But there was this one time in training, we're doing this drill. And I guess I developed the habit of not getting all the way down. But I thought I was. But the person threw the clothesline like they were supposed to. And I didn't duck all the way. And I got caught like all up in here.
Oh.
And yeah. And I just remember like, oh, I keep forgetting. And ever since that day, I never like just not ducked for a clothesline. I will duck. There's no way you're getting me. I will slip and slide and everything.
Okay. So
yeah, so it's kind of like one of the wrestlers that on the West Coast that talked to Joe, and then me and Joe, and he said that he's like, I'm gonna put you through a table, Joe. I'm gonna put you through a table.
He always says he wants to put me through a table. Always.
He wants to put you through a table.
And then Joe's like, I'm not trained.
I'm not trained. I'm just a fan. I'm like a fan of my grandfather was a wrestler, but
if Shaq can go through a table, you can go through a table.
You're a wrestler, and they'll be like the third or fourth wrestler that I've asked this question. So when you go through a table, you tuck your chin, right?
You tuck your chin with everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yay! Now I know. No, great. Now I know.
Every single thing, anything that requires your back to hit something that you can't see. Like even when I did judo and jujitsu, you just learn to tuck your neck. You know, and that's why it aggravates me when people are like, "Oh, wrestling's fake." I'm like, you still have to do things to protect yourself as if you're really fighting. In judo, you get thrown all the time. You tuck your neck if you can, and you slap the mat to transfer the energy, or you slap the ground. Like if someone's slamming you, you slap the ground or do whatever, and then you use someone's momentum against them. But you always tuck. It just in general in life, if something, now that I've introduced them, now they want to play. But if there's something that you're taking with your body, if a car is coming at you and you have time to not get hit by it, you jump, you can land on the hood, and you still tuck your neck. Your neck and your head are like super important. So even if it's going through a table, a chair, someone's, knitting, destroying you, or whatever, you tuck that neck. Or your chin.
I hope
so. It is true, Joe. It is true.
I
Tuck
hope
your
he's not
chin.
listening to this because he's like, I told him. Now it's gonna happen. No, it's not gonna happen. And it's funny. Me and Geek, like in the future, we talked about traveling to different locations for wrestling events, and I'm trying to save my money up. I'm considering maybe trying to go to Florida to see some wrestling shows with Geek in the future. CCW, that's in Florida. So if we ever travel to Florida and we find out you're going to be at the CCW show, we could all meet up and have some nice hibachi. We'll have
Yes. What you should do is come to Pro Wrestling Action in Orlando, Florida. Well, Sanford, Florida, on March 25th, because not only is that my birthday, I'm actually wrestling that night as well.
Yeah.
Oh, if we're
Orlando's kind of far for a Geek, you know.
You can't say that to a wrestler that drives 11 plus hours
That's
to
true. That is true, though.
Or flies. Before I used to be like, yeah, I understand, but now if you want it, you got to plan for it. Like if you're going to WrestleMania, you'll plan for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I understand, but I do recommend it because Pro Wrestling Action is also a really good wrestling promotion that has come up within the last year. And
wait, I know that name. Wait, is their logo like an A, almost like a giant A? It looks like a slash.
Mm-mm.
We're having
I'm about to post more on it now, but their posters and things look like comic book characters or like a comic book.
I think I've seen that one. If you ever want to send us, if you could ask them first, but if you want to send us any posters after the show, we'll happily we'll ask the promotion first. We will be happy. Oh, cats fighting in front of you. If you can, ask your promotion first, and if they say yes, send us the poster. We'll post it on our Instagram page. We love helping promotions. We don't care who they are, where they're from.
Thank you.
We'll push it. As long as they know that we mean no harm and we're not stealing their stuff.
That's it.
That's us.
Okay.
They love independent wrestling. They don't care what. There's no different states for us. We may be in the tri-state, but we like to push all indie promotions.
Because you never know. People that are in are watching our podcast can be from Orlando, Florida, and they can go to your show to see you. So and where can they see you?
Where can they see the next? Where's the next show they will see you perform?
So on Saturday, I'll be going against Kylan Keene at Mount Vernon, Illinois, at IWA. That's where I hold the championship for the Belladonna division at IWA Pro Wrestling. And then Sunday, I'll be in Georgia, Warner Robins, Georgia, facing Camille for the NWA Women's World Championship. And the following week, I feel like I'm somewhere, but I can't remember. I know for sure on March 25th, I'll be at Pro Wrestling Action in Sanford, Florida. And I took less bookings in March because I wanted to kind of, in March 12th, I believe I'll be in Jasper, Georgia at Georgia Premier Wrestling. I'm not sure if I'm wrestling on that show, but I highly recommend people coming anyway because Shawty Lee Johnson is going to be on that show.
Wow.
And this show has Nightmare Factory students on it.
So that's awesome.
I believe it's the 12th. It's either the 12th or the 19th. But if people follow me on social media, especially my Instagram, they'll definitely see me advertise. Instagram, I'm trying to do better with Twitter and definitely on Facebook. But yeah, and then hopefully you'll see me on Dark soon. I actually filmed a few with them, but I don't think they've come out yet. And you just never know where else you might see me.
Yeah,
exactly.
Never know.
Exactly. Yeah. You have social medias too, or
Sorry.
social media?
You want to plug?
So social media. So I have like a lot. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, and you can find me at shalonce_royal. I also have a YouTube channel, and it's called The Fighting Siren. I have a Twitch channel, which is Shalonce Royal, and hopefully one day we can Twitch and stream together. You know, I'm all up for it.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh, are you gonna get here? Funny question: are you going to get WWE 2K22 when it comes out?
I feel like I have to, but I don't know, but I feel like I have to. So if you want to stream that together, I'm down.
Oh my gosh! You know how many now? Shalonce, you're a wrestler. You have to tell Geek to get a PlayStation 4 now.
Yes.
So we can do. So we can even do a stream one day while we're just.
We'll do a stream. We'll have a triple threat match. We can have
playing the game.
I'll have to make a female version of myself, and have to Geek will have a Divas match, a women's championship match.
And I'll be fair too. I'll create a male version of myself so we can.
Well, I guess
what would be the male version's name?
Huh?
What would the male version of your name be then?
I don't know. It'll probably be Shalonce. That's how people say it anyway.
What would what would he look like? Because I know your character's like very like musical, and like the way I see your outfit's like red with the little fur coat.
You can sing. You can still sing, Joe.
No, what would he wear? Like a giant trench coat? Because you have the small fur coat. Like, would it be?
I feel like if he could, he would have like the conductor's jacket that kind of like comes out and take it off, and then have like the symbol I have, but it's drawn on or it's already a tattoo. So he'll be like shirtless with the tattoo, and then we'll have the pants with the music notes on the side.
Sometimes me and Joe do watch-alongs too. So.
Oh my gosh! Sometimes we do like watch-alongs. So like whenever your AEW Dark gets released, we could do a watch-along and watch it together.
Yes, we should. I'll totally do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because I'm looking to do more on Twitch. You know, I used to do, I will play a scary video game so people could just see me scared all the time, and then I would do mukbang Mondays where I'm eating and talking about certain stuff and people ask questions. You know, and yeah, so I would love to do stuff like that to get back in the swing of things. So definitely, and I'm also open for fans as well. So I make a female. I call myself Miss Dozer. Is it Dozer?
Yeah, because we were in school, we called him Bulldozer because he was a really big guy in college. He was a big dude, and if we told him Jesse knock that person down, he would just boom, like he would just take him down like a bulldozer.
Yes,
you would have liked our buddy in college. He was one of those guys that he was a big teddy bear. So I need a hug, bud. And he was like, come here, girl. He's still a big guy, but he's big now. He like does a lot of workouts and like running and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Great show. You guys you guys do such a great job. So
we try.
Thank you for having me.
No, thanks for coming on, by the way.
Thanks for coming on. We would love to have you back, and please spread the word. Please tell your friends. We're having an owners month on in June, so please tell the owners of your promotion that we want them to come on to represent the indie promotion in June if they're available. Talk about their promotion. Talk about what they do with their promotion. Okay. We just want to help. We're new at this stuff, and we just want to help.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people appreciate you, and I'll definitely let the promotions know that I work on. But thank you guys for what you do. And I apologize for people watching if they think that I'm boring. Because
you've been awesome.
Thank you. It's just I don't have the stereotypical story that most wrestlers have. You know, you hear them like, oh, I grew up watching wrestling and I always wanted, like, no, I grew up wanting to make a difference, but I grew up wanting to live a life that I feel like I'm not just existing, that I'm living. And at first I thought that was through music, which I still love music to this day. I want to be an artist. I still love music. I love to sing. And that was a way that I can make people feel. But then through some turn of events, and I guess that could be another story for another day, of how I actually got into wrestling, like what made me do backyard wrestling. I discovered that I really like the physical aspect of it. So I wanted to originally do bodybuilding, and then I changed my mind on that, and I wanted to do MMA fighting, and then I saw someone's nose get, caved in, so I changed my mind on that. And then I did judo and jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, I'm really good at sports. So I found out that wrestling is like opera, or it's like theater, it's like physical theater.
Physical theater,
and
exactly.
I get to do the best of both worlds, and I can sing and beat people up. But it took me a while to actually get to that destination to figure that out. But I didn't watch wrestling. I played the video games. I always liked the idea of being a real life anime character, and that is truly how I ended up to this point. So I know more about wrestling now than I did growing up ever.
So now I'm thinking now Geek, when I know I'm geeking now, Geek gets his PlayStation 4. Instead of doing the show like this, we'll be playing against them on the PlayStation playing.
That's just gonna be another show on Dudes at Ringside, right?
Oh
there.
God, it's wrestling. Oh, I can already think of the name. Wrestling with the Wrestlers.
Wrestling with the Wrestlers.
With the dude, wrestling with the wrestlers, the dudes. The dudes wrestle with the wrestlers. There you go.
And they're creative.
That reminds me. So the podcast that I'm starting is called Wrestling Through Life, or Wrestle Through Life. I forget which one, because the original one that I wanted to use, another, like someone else had already taken that name. So I had to choose something similar. But I'm going to advertise that soon. And I would love to have you guys on my podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. We're
actually,
definitely.
I just said before we were live, I didn't get a chance to finish saying it. In April, the Panthers' birthday month, of course, I thought I'm Mr. Creator of the Months. We're doing a podcast month. And if you want to come back and represent your podcast,
okay.
That's cool. That's definitely cool with us too.
Oh, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But anyway, there was one question. I know you answered it before, but he was probably there's one question in the chat, but you answered it before. But if you want to repeat your answer, because I don't think he was here by when you answered it. Who's your favorite artist?
Who is my favorite artist? They spelled my name wrong.
Uh-oh.
I have a lot of artists that I like. It's not just one, unfortunately, because I mix them all. Like, I love music. Like, I am not joking. People will tell you who had to ride in the car with me. I feel so bad for them, because if they only like one type of music, they're not just going to get one type. I have music from all over the world on my phone. I am influenced by many different people. Like I said, there's a few songs from Beyonce that I feel. I grew up listening to Tattoo, which is like a Russian female duo. In the early, and also Vanessa Carlton.
Yep.
I grew up listening to that, but then at the same time I have Rammstein on my phone, and people are like,
we can really hang out. We all love that stuff.
Oh man, metal music right there.
Like freaked out with those music, like Rammstein, Tool, Seven Dust. That's me.
Biscuit Corn, right? Disturbed.
I remember hearing a story from my friend that was one of my good friends from college. He loved Seven Dust. He never
really
loved Seven Dust. He went to their concert, and the lead singer came out, and he was like, everybody was like, yeah. He went like this. He didn't. He's like, he had no problem with it. He was like, he's black? I didn't know he was black.
I didn't know that either.
He came out, and everybody was like looking at him like, what? He's like, no. I've never seen them perform. This is the first time I've seen them live. Like, everybody was getting all mad.
They're amazing. Seven Dust is amazing live. I've seen them live twice, maybe 3 times. I saw Seven Dust 3 times. They're amazing.
Hold on a second. Sorry.
It's messing up.
Okay.
No, I saw Seven Dust 3 times. They're absolutely amazing.
Really?
Yeah, they're awesome.
I've never seen them live.
Have you? Did you ever get a chance to see Linkin Park live before?
No.
Oh my gosh, I saw him.
I saw with Joe.
I saw them.
Oh,
live.
you did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I
didn't get a chance. So I'm also one of those weird ones where I love music, but I can count how many times I've actually been to like a concert that's not a choir concert, like on one hand.
Wow.
But that's mainly because of like my upbringing, because I grew up in a very low income household, if that's a better way of saying it. So priority wasn't going to the movies or, you know, going to concerts. It was see, I'm jealous. But now I'm trying to live my best life and save my coins and stuff. I mean, wrestling definitely is expensive, but or it can be.
Podcasting too.
The podcasting too?
Yeah.
I didn't buy this.
Buying microphones and computers and stuff like that.
Because when I was going to start this podcast, before we started the podcast, I just had a headset, and then your phone's going crazy.
I only have 2%.
Oh no! Wait, we want to start ending it, Geekin?
If you want to wrap it up,
Shalonce, we could do that.
I'm sorry.
It's
okay.
all right.
It's
all right. But anyway,
all right.
I'm Metal Geek.
I'm Joe Panther III, and you have to say your name. And yes,
me.
Yes.
What about him?
He already said his name. He said
it so fast.
Say
I am
it.
wrestling's best musical diva, the fighting siren, shalonce.
And we will see you in the next one.